Hello, I'm Robert Shear, the editor of TruthDig.com, an online magazine devoted to digging beneath the headlines for the truth. It's been said that truth is the first casualty of war. Never truer than in much of the coverage leading up to the Iraq War. Our mainstream media displayed a particular flair for burying facts while towing the official line. Since 2001, the American public has been fed a steady diet of official spin, propaganda, distortions, and lies through a press that's eaten it all up. Meanwhile, critics have been fired or iced out of the mainstream press. As a result, many Americans to this day believe that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction, that Saddam had ties to Al-Qaeda, and that Iraqis were among the 9/11 hijackers. All false. But today I'd like to talk about media makers who got it right on Iraq, media like Link TV. Throughout this special broadcast, we're going to tell you some of the ways you can support Link and keep exceptional television alive. In exchange for your contributions, we have a number of gifts to thank you in return. Now joining us is a media maker who got it right on Iraq, filmmaker John Alpert. He's the founder of Downtown Community Television New York, the winner of 15 National Emmy Awards for his television programs and documentaries, and a frequent contributor to Link TV. Welcome, John.
Hi, thanks for having me on the show today.
You know, the incredible thing is, first of all, you got in trouble in the first Iraq War. I blew the year reference, but the 91, you showed us the other side of war, and you got fired from NBC. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, I can get in trouble walking across the street, but during that war, all the American-based correspondents left Baghdad except for Peter Arnett, and he was the only one there. And I was thinking, well, Peter Arnett, he's a really good reporter, but is this the only set of eyes and ears that America should have in a situation like this? And so I began waving my hand in the air, and eventually NBC let me go to Baghdad. And I was there with Peter Arnett. What was interesting is that Peter was following the rules. When you showed up in Iraq, Saddam's government gave you 3 pages of rules that you were supposed to follow. You couldn't film from a moving camera, you couldn't shoot a government official, you couldn't shoot a dead person, you couldn't shoot a religious, it just went on and on. You couldn't do anything. And so as a result, what was really happening in the streets, nobody was filming. And Peter Arnett would be standing on top of the hotel every night, but what was happening, and basically the civilian deaths and casualties that were part of the war, part of any war, weren't being documented. And the American people were watching TV and were being told that there were no civilian casualties and no civilian deaths. Saddam was saying the same thing because he was trying to, hit me, can't hurt me, and it wasn't true. So we filmed, it took us about 3 days. We figured out how to trick the Iraqis. We filmed all this stuff, and I snuck the tapes out of Iraq in my sock. And I came back. NBC was very excited. This was the first look at what was really happening on the battlefield there. And 3 hours before the tape was supposed to be broadcast, I got called into the president of NBC News' office. And he said, every time you go to the third world, you cause trouble for us. And I'm just not going to take it anymore. And he fired me and refused to broadcast the program.
That was it?
We didn't know what to do. Well, it gets worse because it's one thing to report something, and this is sort of where Link TV comes in, but that's only half of it. And if you chop that tree down and there isn't anybody to see it hit, nobody's reading the papers, nobody's watching your stories on TV, if you can't get it on, you failed as a reporter.
So as I understand, we have a chance to watch that footage right now, and why don't we see what this offensive footage, this censored footage was all about.
ننزل عندك بغداد.
I think it's unusual that in the middle of a war they're letting us drive through the country completely unescorted like this.
Apparently they had planned to meet us and it just didn't work out.
Everyone else was rushing to their destination before the nightly bombing began. We had 10 hours to go to Baghdad and no gas stations in between.
There's nobody else coming down the road except us. We're the only ones trapped.
Well, we are very brave.
Or stupid.
The U.S. government and its allies have tried to stop all traffic between Jordan and Iraq.
What is that? Food. Oh, there was food inside the trucks?
Yeah, it's food.
Darn thing's still on fire.
In a 10-mile stretch, we saw at least a dozen vehicles that had been hit. And the bombs have also cut off electricity all over Iraq, even at the 4-star Al Rashid Hotel. How many days since you've had electricity?
2 weeks.
The first place we were taken was the baby milk plant. It was completely destroyed in the first week of the war. There's been an international debate over what was going on inside this factory, but everything was so badly burned that it was really hard for us to tell.
The United States government says that in this factory here you were making chemical weapons. Is that true?
No, that's not true. They are lie. Because this is milk for children. It's powder, milk of children.
Nothing else was made? Only this in the factory?
Yes, and you can see in yourself.
What's that?
Milk. Our product.
The United States government said this has some type of barbed wire defense around it, that the factory here is painted with a camouflage here, and so maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they thought this was a military installation.
Believe me, this is not right, because as you know, this is the fence is a very common and normal fence, even for the houses. You see, there is not very something special to say that there is.
But what about the paint? I mean, you could look at this and think that maybe it was military.
No. Believe me, this is a baby milk plant.
To protect other factories, the Iraqis burned tires to create the impression that the buildings have already been hit. And obvious targets like construction projects and military bases have been emptied out. When the bridges are hit, the road crews quickly improvise solutions like this pontoon bridge. In every city we visited, all the telephone installations had been destroyed, often with severe damage to the surrounding neighborhoods. This market in Baghdad had the misfortune of being close to the Justice Ministry. One bomb hit the ministry, another hit the market.
What did you sell in this store here? What type of food?
Fishing. Fish.
You sold fish?
Yes. Sold to the man.
Was it your store?
My brother. Yes. We sold fish here. Bring from the river. Then we sold to the men's.
Right.
Yes.
What are you going to do now?
Without electricity, most commerce in Baghdad has come to a halt. Only businesses that don't need power can survive.
How much for a Wrangler jacket? How much?
7 dinar.
7 dinar.
No.
About $4 or $5.
Yes.
Anybody buying in these days?
بدأ يشترون وزيادة مو نقصان.
Let me see. Oh, you're making money?
meat هذا قول له meat.
He's making meat. Listen, how's business in these days? It's okay.
When you look around the streets here, I mean, this was a really beautiful town, but now it's all shut down. How do you feel about Baghdad
I feel
now?
very bad, really. People, they are closing because they're scared from bombing and they're scared from hitting. This is why everybody remain home.
But it's often not safe at home. Early one morning, a rocket struck this residential neighborhood.
Look.
Your family was hurt? Your father was hurt?
Yes.
Tell me, what happened to your father?
His leg broken and his hand and all face. No face. No, his lips and nose, everything. His eyes.
From the fire?
From the fire and
We visited her father in the hospital. All the features had been burned off his face. Many people have fled to the city of Negev. Since one of the holiest shrines in Iraq is located here, it was thought the Allies would not bomb the town. The mosque was filled with the coffins of dead soldiers, other bombing victims, and the cries of weeping mothers. Here too, there's not much business going on, and those who thought the town would not be attacked were wrong.
And what happened in this house here? What happened?
1 rocket.
A rocket?
1 rocket, yeah. Yes.
Is this where the people died?
Yes, 14 people.
14
babies and women and men.
Yeah. What do you think of this war?
Stupid.
stupid war.
Is it really?
Yes, stupid war.
What town is our destination today?
Ultimately Basra.
How long do you think the trip's going to take?
6 hours probably.
It took longer than that. Many of the major bridges had been hit, and roadblocks redirected the civilian and military traffic to alternative routes when the highway came under attack.
They say there was accidents.
Accidents like bombing and that type of stuff?
Maybe, yes.
As we drove down south, the number of flag-draped coffins of dead soldiers coming back from the front began to increase. And behind these sand embankments for 100 miles, the Iraqi army was dug in, waiting for an attack. As we entered the outskirts of town, it was clear we were in a war zone. Many of the factories had been bombed, the gas stations had all been taken out. And much of the population of Basra had already fled. The old marketplace was hit by rocket fire, and most of the owners have abandoned their stores. We stayed at the Basra Sheraton. It had seen more peaceful days. You got sandbags all around the hotel?
But here we do mistake. There is not enough sand. I'm coming.
Who pays you guys? Is Sheraton still paying you?
Yeah, Sheraton, yeah.
But how many customers do you have? Do you ever have any guests?
No, guest about 20.
20 when? Since the war started?
Yeah.
While we're eating dinner at the hotel, a bomb landed down the street. We went over the next morning. Oh boy, they really nailed this neighborhood.
Most probably he was trying to hit this bridge.
Oh, you think he was trying to hit the bridge over here? But if they were trying to hit the bridge, they missed.
They missed it the second time.
Oh yeah? They just missed the hospital across the way, and the frustrated residents want to blow up the bridge themselves to avoid further attacks.
What do you think, you? What is your idea?
I think you're pretty angry. Yeah?
We are all angry.
Uh-huh. What was this, Kaduri?
Pepsi company, that's the biggest company really in Basra.
The Pepsi factory?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know why this factory was targeted. Inside, we didn't see any Pepsi bottles, so it's not clear what manufacturing was going on. What is clear is that the residential neighborhood behind the factory, 5 or 6 blocks, was completely destroyed.
This is my house. This is my brother's house.
Uh-oh, another air raid starting. Can you hear the siren?
Yes, I hear.
Was anyone hurt in your family?
No. Just wounded. 2 baby.
2 baby. Your babies were wounded?
This my neighbor is die. 2.
With no water and no electricity, the local hospital has trouble treating the victims. How many of the shepherds got killed in the attack?
15 of them.
15 shepherds got killed? What caused this injury?
Yes, shell injury.
It's what, shrapnel? From the shells?
Yes.
Do you think you're going to be able to take care of everybody who gets hurt?
Well, we wish so.
But realistically, you have
I
no
don't think it would be difficult. I think it will be difficult, yes.
You don't have enough medicine?
No. Not enough medicine.
What do you doctors think? Year after year, war and more war?
Well, that is our fate.
This program is brought to you by Link TV. To find out more about this program and others like it, log on to linktv.org/specials. Link TV can be found on DirecTV channel 375 or Dish Network channel 9410. Link TV, television without borders.